and you can see the flow volume curves. So the relationship between the maximum flow rate and gas during a forced maneuver. So these are the flow volume curves. So here this upper part represents the expiration and the lower part express the inspiration. So by these curves we can mainly find out the flow rates during expiration, the peak expiratory flow, this is the peak expiratory flow, and also we can find out the forced vital capacity. So this is the forced vital capacity. So here FEF25, this FEF25 mainly represents the vital capacity that is exhaled 25%. That is the vital capacity in expiration, it has expelled 25%, and 50% means exhaled vital capacity of 50%. 75% means 75% of the vital capacity is exhaled. So this is about expiration. So how much amount of like about 75% of force expiratory volume has expired. So how the graph is flowing. It is better to understand this peak expiratory flow rate definition. That is the maximum flow rate that is attained mainly during forceful expiration. Forceful expiration expiratory effect is called the PEFR, that is peak expiratory flow rate. So in this graph actually what we can understand is this is a pressure which is applied to, this is the compression pressure on the alveoli, on the bronchioles, on the bronchi. So why we are giving this much pressure? Mainly to see how much is the forced expiration. So you know what is forced expiration is nothing but by how much the maximum expiration by which we can take out the air from the lungs, that is called as forced expiration. So here because by applying external pressure, so that lot of pressure can go out. So this is the maximum expiratory flow, that is like you can see 400 millimeters of mercury, 400 liter per minute, that is the expiratory air flow and the lung volume. So actually we can also compare the lung volume with the expiratory flow. As the lung volume keep on decreasing, even the expiratory flow is keep on decreasing, but you can say as the lung volume is 6 here, means it is increasing, so even the maximum expiratory flow has increased, but as the lung volume is decreasing, slowly the expiratory volume is also decreasing, that is maximum expiratory flow is also decreasing to the residual volume. Again back to the residual volume, this is the total lungs capacity. We know 6 is the total lung capacity. So this is the graph. On x-axis we have the lung volume and on y-axis we have the expiratory air flow. So this is mainly explaining the normal lung, as we see in this red graph already in the normal lung, but this is comparing with the constricted lungs and the airway obstruction. So mainly in the constricted lung there is reduced total lung capacity, whereas and also reduced residual volume. So even the residual volume is decreased in the case of constricted lung, because you know in constriction mainly there is decreased compliance and increased elasticity. So if the elasticity is increased, mainly it is hard in the case of inspiration. In these patients inspiration is very hard, but expiration is very easy. So as expiration is very easy, lot of air is gone out. So because of this, residual volume is decreased in constricted lungs. Whereas coming to the airway obstruction, you know obstruction disease like emphysema. So in emphysema what happens, there is decrease in elastance and increase in compliance. So because of increase in compliance, here the patient has more expiration, more inspiration, but decrease expiration. So as here the expiration is decreased, the patient is having force, it is hard for the patient during expiration, means you can understand here the residual volume will be increased. So as the residual volume is increased, you know in the total lung capacity even the residual volume is part, so even the total lung capacity increase. So these are the major differences we need to note in between the constricted lungs and the obstructive lungs with the normal lungs. So this graph gives a clear idea, that is the differentiation and comparison between constricted lungs, obstructed lungs and the normal lungs. And even this graph shows the difference between the normal lung and the airway obstruction lung, but here they are showing about the functional volume. Sorry, this is forced expiratory vital capacity. It's the forced expiratory vital capacity. It's a vital capacity, forced expiratory vital capacity. So you can see the vital capacity is like same in the normal lung and also in the obstructed lung. So that's what even here is shown. FVCs, that the forced expiratory vital capacities are not greatly different, but the major difference is seen in the persons who can expire is the expiration. There is a major difference in expiration, because we already know in obstructive disease the expiration is very hard for the patient, like in emphysema. So you can see in the normal lung it is 80%, but the two in the first second we observe it in the first second. But you can see in this the expiratory volume has decreased to like 47%. So that is the major difference between the normal lung and the obstructed lung. That is mainly the expiratory volume is decreased. And next let us see this last one, that is the closing volume. That the closing volume refers to the lung volume that coincides with the beginning of airway closure in the dependent parts of the lung during expiration. So you can see this is the graph between the volume on the x-axis and the y-axis. We have the concentration. So as the volume in liters, it's the total lung capacity is a reserve volume. So this is the first phase, total lung capacity, it's going higher concentration, whereas it's a 3, it's a 4 as coming to the reserve volume. Reserve volume, it's a vital capacity as CV. This is the closing volume. And one more important pointing is that in normal healthy individuals, the closing volume is usually less than functional residual capacity and it is above the residual volume. Sorry, here CV is the closing volume. As I said, closing volume is less than functional residual capacity. We don't know what is functional residual capacity. Expiratory reserve volume plus reserve volume, residual volume. Sorry, this is not working. So you can see this is the residual volume plus expiratory reserve volume together gives us the uh, functional residual capacity. So always what we are saying is closing volume is less than functional residual capacity but greater than residual volume. So you can see this is residual volume, it's greater than this. This is the closing volume. It is in the phase 4, you can see the closing volume has rise. So the closing volume is what? If we say to the person to take the 100% oxygen, like with deep inspiration we take them to take the air inside, and while releasing, like while exhaling, we'll say we use the nitrogenous gas. We say them to exhale into a container which is containing a nitrogen gas continuously. So while they're exhaling into the nitrogenous gas, we are measuring this. So like that we'll get the closing volume. Here this is a closing volume.